Virgo, they watch you differently than everyone else does. Uh, you've noticed it. Uh, the specific quality of their attention when it lands on you, more concentrated, more aware, more like someone who has been paying close attention for longer than they've admitted. And something about being seen that precisely by someone who wasn't supposed to see that much um, does something to you, something you haven't fully decided what to do with yet. Let's start with the knowing, because that's the part that's probably most disorienting. Um, Not the territoriality that's manageable, that's understandable, that's something you can file under feelings and move on from, but the knowing, the specific, accurate, how did you notice that knowing? Uh, the way they reference something you said once casually in passing weeks ago, as if they filed it the moment it left your mouth. The way they anticipate things about you, um, your mood before you've named it, your hesitation before you've explained it, the thing you are about to say, finished by them uh, accurately without trying. That level of knowing, the kind that doesn't feel like a trick or a performance, um, comes from one thing: sustained, focused, genuinely interested attention over time. Um, the kind of attention that doesn't wander, um, that keeps returning to you in conversations you're not in moments you're not aware of, because something about you has become, for them, the thing worth returning to. And that the being someone's return lands differently than being someone's interest. Interest is common. People are interested in all kinds of things, um, but being the thing someone keeps coming back to privately, consistently, without expecting anything from it, that's a different category entirely. Uh, Now, the territorial part, um, which is probably the part producing the most complicated feelings in you, because territorial reads differently depending on where you're standing. Uh, from the outside or from a guarded place, territorial feels like pressure, um, like someone laying claim to something they haven't been given the right to claim, like a flag planted in ground that doesn't belong to them yet. And there's a version of territorial that is exactly that: controlling, possessive, the kind that mistakes intensity of feeling for the right to ownership. That version is a problem, um, and worth naming clearly. But there's another version, the version that comes not from control, um, but from the specific anxiety of someone who has found something rare and doesn't yet have the security to hold it lightly, who feels, perhaps for the first time in a long time, perhaps more intensely than they've felt before, um, that you are something they cannot afford to lose. And that feeling, before it becomes language, before it becomes an honest conversation, leaks out as territoriality, um, as the visible edge of a feeling that hasn't yet found its proper form. Which version is this? Only you know. And the answer to that question, honest, unromantic, based on what you've actually observed rather than what you hope, determines everything about how you respond to it. This reflection invites you to consider when their territorial energy shows up. What do you actually feel? Before you decide what you should feel, um, before you apply any framework to it in the body, does it feel like pressure? Or does it feel like something closer to being wanted? Does it feel like a wall going up? Uh, or does some part of you, the part that's been less guarded about this than you've admitted, find it quietly, slightly, uncomfortably compelling? Because the answer matters. It tells you something about where you actually are with this, beyond where you've been performing, being the wants you all to themselves part. Let's be precise about what that actually means, because all to themselves is a phrase that can describe something beautiful or something concerning. Uh, and the difference between the two is entirely in the motivation underneath it. Wanting someone all to yourself from scarcity, um, from the fear that someone else will take what you haven't secured yet, is anxiety wearing the clothes of affection. It looks like intensity. It feels like being wanted. But underneath, um, it's someone trying to manage their own fear of loss by limiting your access to other people. And that, however flattering in the short term, becomes a cage. Um, Always, without exception, wanting someone all to yourself from abundance, from the genuine, full hearted decision that this specific person is who you want to invest in, looks different. It's not about limiting, it's about choosing. Not, I want to keep you from others, um, but I want to be the person you choose. I want to be enough, good enough, present enough, worth it enough, that choosing me feels like having everything rather than giving something up. That version of wanting you all to themselves is actually one of the most profound things one person can feel toward another. The desire to be someone's enough, not their only, their chosen. Which version is operating here? And are you being honest with yourself about which one it is, without letting the flattery of being wanted color the assessment? Uh, Now let's talk about the knowing again, because this is the part that's most worth sitting with. And the feeling that this person knows you better than anyone else. Uh, what does that actually mean to be known? Not known about, known. The distinction matters enormously. Lots of people know about you, your history, your preferences. The surface level facts that accumulate through time spent together, known about, is access to information. Um, known, uh, actually known, is something different. It's someone understanding the pattern underneath the behavior, the why underneath the what, the thing you're protecting when you go quiet, the specific flavor of your humor and what it reveals about how you see the world, the difference between your real laugh and your polite one, the version of you that shows up when you're not performing. Um, that kind of knowing, the pattern level underneath the surface, knowing um, is rare. Um, and when someone has it, when you encounter a person who seems to read you accurately, consistently, without you having to explain yourself, the effect is significant. Um, um, because being known, really known, is one of the deepest human needs that most people go their entire lives not fully experiencing. Mm. Most relationships are built on performed versions of both people, on the curated self each person brings to the interaction. And the curated self, however appealing, um, never produces the feeling of being known. It produces the feeling of being appreciated, which is nice, but it's not the same thing. Um, this person, um, your territorial crush, seems to have gotten past the curated self somehow, uh, through observation, through attention, through the specific quality of someone who was paying closer attention than you realized. They ended up somewhere that most people don't reach. And now they're there, inside the real version of you. And they want to stay. This reflection invites you to consider, does being known by this person feel safe? Or does it feel exposed? Because those are two very different experiences of the same thing. Uh, and which one you're having tells you something important about whether you trust them with what they've seen. Because being known is only a gift when the person doing the knowing is someone safe enough to hold it. Um, and safe isn't a feeling, it's a track record. What does theirs say? Here's what the combination, the knowing and the territorial, um, produces when they exist in the same person. Intensity, uh, the specific intensity of someone who has invested significantly, um, in attention, in observation, in the quiet work of actually understanding you, and now feels that investment deeply, feels the weight of it, um, the significance of having gotten this close, um, and the corresponding fear of losing the closeness. And intensity, um, as we've established, is not inherently a problem. Intensity is a signal. It signals the size of the feeling. Um, the question always um, is whether the person carrying the intensity has the emotional architecture to hold it without letting it become something that pressures you, without letting the fear of losing you become behavior that makes you want to create distance. Because that's the irony of territorial behavior. Um, the tighter the grip, the more it produces the exact outcome it was trying to prevent. Mm. People don't stay because they're held. Um, they stay because they want to, and want real, sustained, freely chosen want um, only survives in the presence of space. Pressure kills it every time. Um, if this person has the awareness to know that to channel what they feel into presence rather than pressure, what they're bringing might be something genuinely worth receiving. If they don't, uh, the intensity will eventually require a boundary, not aggressively. Clearly, from a place of, I see what you feel and I need you to hold it differently. This reflection invites you to consider, have you told them what you need? Not hinted, not hoped they'd figure it out from context. Um, Said clearly, directly, kindly what works for you and what doesn't. Because someone who knows you as well as this person seems to deserves the chance to respond to your actual stated needs, rather than being judged against standards they don't know exist. Clarity is care in both directions, for them and for you. Um, and then there's the question, the one underneath all of this, that you might be dancing around. Um, do you want to be theirs? Not do you find them interesting? Not do you enjoy being known by them? Do you want to be theirs in the specific chosen, I'm going somewhere with this way, that their territorial energy is clearly already pointing toward? Because if yes, there's a conversation to be had, um, about what this is, about what you both want, about how the intensity gets channeled into something that serves the connection rather than straining it, about the specific, practical, what does this look like between us conversation that crushes eventually require, if they're going to become anything more than feelings circling each other without landing. Um, and if not, if the honest answer is that being known feels good, but the wanting you all to themselves part is too much, then that's also a conversation to be had. Kindly, um, clearly, before the intensity builds further in a direction that isn't going where they're hoping. Because they know you well enough to deserve honesty rather than the slow fade that's kinder to you and harder on them. Um, Either way, a conversation, real words between two people who, whatever happens next, um, have apparently gotten close enough that pretending otherwise serves neither of them. The power is yours. Um, it always has been. Being known, um, really known, accurately known, seen past the performance known, is not nothing. Um, it's actually everything most people are looking for and rarely find. Um, and having found it in this person, however complicated the territorial packaging, um, is worth treating with more intention than just letting it exist in the ambiguous space of crush. Name it. Decide what you want. Um, Say it clearly. And let what comes next come from that clarity rather than from the comfortable ambiguity of two people who know each other well and are both waiting for the other one to say it first. Say it first. Take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Tell me in the comments, has someone ever known you better than you expected them to, and what did that feel like? Drop it below. And territorial energy, does it draw you in or push you away? Be honest. I want to know where you land on that. That's everything today. Go have the conversation. Um, the real one, not the rehearsed one. And the one that actually moves something.